a battle that I know I run into. I know a lot of colleagues do. How are you thinking of like trying to get your kids to get that grit without having to go through the same pain?
Wow, that's a great question. And I talk about it with a lot of friends of mine who are, who've been successful. Like, how do we teach it?
Mhm.
Um, it's not possible for my children to ever have the level of it that I have, because I've not created an environment where they're going to have to struggle in a dysfunctional or negative way the way that I did.
Yeah.
On a positive way, they see me work. They see me be disciplined. They see my commitment. They stay. I mean, they're part of me. They through osmosis, I can already see them having these characteristics of being committed to the things that they get into. I mean,
Yeah.
they're still young yet. They're 12 and 9. I mean, on the material side of things, I mean, I'm successful, and I appreciate and I'm grateful for what I have, but I also, I'm not afraid to have things and to
Yeah.
enjoy them. I've worked hard and come from nothing. So that's the balance. My kids don't know. When I used to live in New Jersey, I used to drive them by the garden apartment every so often that I grew up in. I'm like, that's where I used to live.
Yeah.
And they don't understand. They can't comprehend how I grew up in one little room and shared a dresser with my brother, and stored our stuff under the bed, and that was how it was. There was like nothing else. Right? So one little closet to hang your stuff in. It's not easy. It's just trying to teach them a work ethic.
Yeah.
We don't give them anything. They have to earn everything. If my
Yeah.
daughter plays this game called Roblox, my 9-year-old, she's some
So does
video
mine.
game,
Yeah.
constantly wants Robux. It's kind of money for the game.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'll give it to her, but she has to, for every $10, she owes me an hour of labor,
Yeah, it's good.
work. And we have a whiteboard in my office here in the house. And both of my kids, when they want money for something, they know they go to the board, they put on, for every $10 they get, they put 1 hour, and they do chores, and they do a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different things. And so we do things like that. And my 12-year-old, when she turns 14, she'll start working for me.
Yeah.
I'll have her do clerical work. It's just the best we can do. I can never put them in the environment that I grew up in, nor would I ever want to.
Yeah, no, I get it. I actually, it's kind of almost the exact same things because my buddies, we ask the same questions because I got a 16-year-old, I got 11-year-old twins. I'm like, I'm not about to have these kids go off in the world unprepared. They got to have some kind of grit. My wife, she's not really on board all the time. She gets mad at me for like how I'd make them do things. I'm
Same
like,
thing.
dude,
Same
this is
thing.
how it's got to be. Because
Same
my
thing.
wife's like, well, your son's just like you, the ADD. I'm like, yeah, but I had a different animal. Like he's not that. He doesn't have that grit inside of him.
He
How
could
does?
be taught to channel it in a positive way.
Yeah, yeah,
And it could be a huge
yeah,
asset, because the people like that, like him, like maybe like you, like me, when you have that kind of energy, you can channel that and you can be really successful. You
mhm.
really can. And you don't need to be on anything. Like, it's good energy if you just know what to do with it.
Dude, you're speaking my language. I literally tell my son all the time, like, dude, when you become an adult, this is going to be an amazing asset. Like my ability to do what I do, it's because of my ADHD for sure. Right. But I'm like, you got to get yourself to adulthood without getting in jail. Like we gotta get you to the back end of life.